All right.
All
Hi.
right.
So
Hi.
I
So
found
I
Mike
found Mike
via YouTube.
via
Showed up in my
YouTube.
YouTube
Showed
feed,
up in
and I
my
started
YouTube
to
feed, and
engage
I
with this
started to
content. It
engage
was
with this
very
content. It was
interesting
very
because I'd already started
interesting because
doing
I'd already
my
started
own
doing my own
genealogy on
genealogy on
Ancestry.com, and
Ancestry.com,
was very
and
interested
was
in
very interested
understanding the
in
background that
understanding the background
was a
that
part of the lure of
was a
my
part of the lure
family
of my
and our
family and our
indigeneity. And
indigeneity.
so
And so
ultimately, I decided
ultimately, I
to book
decided to
a
book a
consultation because I
consultation
realized that
because I
he
realized that
actually knew
he
what
actually knew
what he was talking
what he
about,
was
and
talking about, and
had built that trust.
had
And I'm
built that
glad that I
trust. And I'm
did
glad that
because
I did
not
because
only have
not
I
only
learned
have I
enough to know
learned
that
enough to
Mike is the
know that
person to
Mike is the
help
person
me
to
push
help me push
this forward,
this
right, and
forward,
help
right,
us
and
discover
help
where we
discover
come from
where we come
truly.
from truly.
But
But
I've also
I've also
learned that
learned
more
that
about the history
more about the
of
history of
Indians in this country
Indians
and
in
how we
this
were
country and how we
reclassified
were
and so forth.
reclassified and so forth.
But it was definitely
But it was
a
definitely
journey of
a
discovery.
journey
And
of
so,
discovery. And
if you
so,
are at all
if you are at
wondering if it's
all
worth it, then I
wondering if
would
it's
say
worth
yes,
it,
go
then I would
ahead
say
and
yes, go
book the
ahead and
session.
book the session.
It will be worth your while.
It will be
Many
worth
know
your
about
while.
slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a native Black American and a member of the Muskogee Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, go to nativeblack.ancestry.com to schedule a consultation.
They don't want you to remember that you not no slave indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British. Man, quite frankly, you was kings Merovingians. They took the women and men made them prisoners. Raised up the children to worship their images. Set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them. And this shit get way deeper than your pigment.
All right. Smash the like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Shout out to all the long-term viewers. Apologies. I know I've been mostly running replays lately. I've been trying to catch up with genealogy research for clients of mine, but we're here for another call-in show. This is a call-in show I host from time to time to do a couple of things. For one, I make myself available as a resource for our community, for those that are seeking knowledge, who are maybe trying to conduct genealogical work on their family's behalf, and maybe they hit some roadblocks, some brick walls, and this is a time where you can hit the call-in number. Let me know if you have any questions, any comments, any way that I can point you in the right direction. Of course, if you go to nativeblack.ancestry.com, I provide one-on-one genealogy consultations where I teach folks the 3-step process that me and my family used to trace our heritage and get tribal citizenship with the Muskogee Creek Nation back in 2021. But these call-in shows are just kind of a little bit of community activism, if you will. I mean, Lord knows I already spend dozens and dozens of hours each week producing live content across several different social media platforms. But these call-in shows is really a great way for you to pick my brain for free 99. Also, of course, if there's any naysayers, any detractors, any contrarian individuals that think all Black Americans come from Africa and we're pretendians and yada, 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 then I urge you to call in. This call-in show is not just for people seeking guidance with genealogical research, but it's also for any and everybody in between. Call in if you have some questions or if you want some smoke. Either way, I'm here for it. Now, what we're going to do, the call-in show is posted already. The call-in number is posted already. But what we're going to do right now is I'm going to get caught up with some missed calls. During a lot of the replays that I run, I have a call-in number posted. That way, if anybody wants to call in, leave a message, then next time I do a call-in show just like this, we can give you a call back. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to start with the callbacks. If there's any new people joining that want to call the Google Voice number, the number is listed. But let's start by giving those folks a call back who have called during previous live streams. We're going to start with this 256 area code. Let's see who we got picking up today. And Lord knows I got about 40 callbacks to make before we even open the phone lines to new callers. So, I'm only going to be able to give it about 3 rings or so. till I gotta get on to the next one. You know how it is. Let me see. Who's the next caller? We had a caller with a 314 area code. Let's give them a try. Guess this is a Rory. Shout out to December the Truth. Nice to see you in the chat.
Telephone number.
All right, and we're right on to the next one. Barrel, 404 area code number.
Hello.
Hey, this is Mike with Native Black Ancestry giving you a call back. How you doing?
Oh, yes, I'm fine.
Great. Well, let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
Oh, yes. I'm calling in from currently in Houston, Texas. I'm working on my ancestry, and I guess I did get the documents, my records. What is it? 5 generations back. Yeah, about 5. And I guess I just need help on the research part of the native search because it's, I guess, following the flow of the family. Let's stop. Follow the search of the family, and I guess it's like a big pile of stories within the stories of the lineage and things of trying to locate the dolls number, the dolls roll number. So yeah, now I've seen your videos. I guess you had several videos and as well as others.
Yep.
Other people as well that's informed. So I guess I was trying to see just making sure it was legit and real and stuff.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
So before I guess start and pay for the services and things.
Yeah, most stuff. And when you say you've seen some videos and stuff, you're probably referring to those little ads that I run of video testimonials from people I've consulted with, right?
Well, and historical videos too.
Okay, great.
Some of the references and
Nice.
and sometimes I guess you have your live podcast and
Yep.
and you can be a bit personal with it sometimes. So
yep.
Yeah, I saw those different things, and I guess too. What is it? I'm using Ancestry.
Yep.
But Ancestry is so. I don't know. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm all there, and then it like takes me in a different direction or something. Like,
Oh yeah, I feel you. You're definitely not alone. And real quick before we keep on with our conversation, to everybody in the chat, if you can give me some fists or feathers, if you guys can hear the audio, a-okay. But yeah, to address some of your concerns in order. Now, first of all, when you say that you're doing the genealogical research on your own, you got back to about 5 generations. Where would you put that as far as years? Would you say you're in like the mid 1800s, the early 1800s, the late 1700s?
So yes, mid 1800s.
Mid 1800s, okay. And it's actually very understandable for a lot of Black Americans to run into some trouble when it comes to getting past like the 1850s, 1860s. A lot of times documentation becomes more scarce. But I know you were mentioning, trying to link ancestors to the dolls rolls. What areas would you say that most of your family is originally from? And do you have any oral tradition of any of them migrating, west of the Mississippi, if you will, to what would later become Arkansas or Oklahoma?
Ooh, now I did see that on my dad's side of the family, but I didn't go as far deep on that branch. I think the branches I got was my mom's side of family. I'm originally from Columbus, Georgia, which is in Muskogee County.
Yep, that's Creek territory right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I started that.
It's funny how you're from Muskogee County, which is named after my tribe, the Muskogee Creek Nation, because that was all our territory before the Trail of Tears pushed us to what is now known as Oklahoma. And I pause you and I say that just so that all the people watching this and the people watching the replays understand that oftentimes the areas that your ancestors are from were literally former indigenous villages, indigenous towns. So when you see your ancestors in a certain place at a certain time, and for whatever reason they don't really leave that area, or if they do, they're following the migration patterns of, you know, Indian removal, well, these could be indicators that you have indigenous ancestry.
Yes, and I know my dad's side of the family I saw was in Mississippi and Mobile, Alabama.
Yep.
And like I said, following the stories within there, but like I said, I did get the documents as far as the death records and marriage certificates. But yeah, like I said, just locating, trying to locate the actual dog's roll number, and
but that goes back to my other question. Do you have any oral tradition, or do you know of any evidence of your ancestors going west of the Mississippi, or most of them staying in the Alabama, Georgia, southeastern region?
Nobody talked about it until I think I started this 4 months ago for the research, and no one mentioned it. And my grandmother just gave me somebody's number. I talked to her yesterday, and I talked to another relative recently today, and she was saying, I will get back on you. I got old pictures. She lived 112 years old. It's just funny how you called today, because I literally called that family member today. Information. And she said, I will get back with you and get with the record, because I was like, I can't find her death certificate, but I see it's around the ballpark. I see notes in my profile. I guess other people went back and stuff. I don't know when it comes to like doing research. So
yeah, and that's a perfect segue into some of the quarrels you've been having with Ancestry.com, because while I do use Ancestry.com when I do research on behalf of, I think I have over like 80 clients right now I'm actively doing research for. But yeah, I definitely use Ancestry.com as one of the tools. But you do have to understand Ancestry.com has a lot of issues. You know, I tell people all the time, Ancestry.com is just like Wikipedia, where anybody can type in anything they want. So Joe Schmo can be typing in something on his family tree that's not even accurate, and next thing you know, it's popping up as a hint on yours. And unless you look in the fine print and see what the source of these hints are, and you validate that source, well, next thing you know, you can have your family tree going back, and you know, a lot of it be inaccurate information. I have clients all the time. They're like, yo, Mike, I was in Ancestry.com. I'm accepting these hints. And next thing you know, I'm in Europe looking at European flags and family crests and stuff, because you know, for one, these hints are really hit or miss. But for two, Ancestry.com has a lot of weird quirks where, for example, if your ancestor was ever enslaved, then their slave owners will actually pop up in the mother and the father role. And unless you know that, then you're going to think, oh, damn, I got all this European ancestry all of a sudden that's popping up in the, you know, early 1800s. So, you know,
right, the Europeans stay popping up.
Yeah, exactly. And there's many reasons for that. You know, a lot of our ancestors had very common names. So whatever the name of your ancestor was, we're guaranteed there's probably at least a dozen European Americans who have that same exact first and last name alive during that same period of time. So, you know, these are the kind of things that I help folks get past during those one-on-one genealogy consultations I provide. And furthermore, it's really a good information to not only, you know, pick my brain and have me answer any questions that you may have, but I really get in depth as to the 3-step process that me and my family used to trace our heritage and get tribal citizenship with the Muskogee Creek Nation back in 2021. So, you know, really in that hour-long consultation, we're not only going to address how to properly do the research on Ancestry.com, but also how to find those roll numbers that you're looking for, how to verify tribal affiliation, and also how to navigate the complexities of the tribal citizenship application process. So, by all means, I definitely recommend you check out the website nativeblackancestry.com. And if you are serious about booking a consultation, make sure to use the coupon code TikTok, one word, all lowercase, and that's going to hook you up with a 20% discount on your consultation.
Okay.
Yep. Well, hey, before I segue to the next call, if you have one more question or a comment or anything to close out, lay it on us.
Oh no, like I said, we're following your channels on YouTube. Like I said, very informative, seeing your live podcasts and just good information that we don't learn in our schools because we've been so indoctrinated. And I knew this with the white kids were doing this in my high school because they were trying to do it to go to college for free. And all to read their research, and I never thought to do it because we were just trained that it was a different set of
well, hold on though. Let's pause right there because that's gonna go over a lot of folks' heads. Okay, he said there was white folks in high school trying to do their genealogy, hoping that they find some indigenous ancestry because their community is aware of the benefits that come with having tribal citizenship. A lot of members in our community aren't aware of the benefits. Free healthcare, free dental, free college tuition, down payment assistance programs for buying property. They'll literally send you a check every year for your kids to get school supplies and clothes. I mean, if your tribe has a casino and they give per cap payments, they're literally giving you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 checks every month as your proceeds of the casino profits. So you see why these white folks really seem to have a weird interest in researching genealogy as a whole, and especially Indigenous American genealogy, because since these roles were created, they've always been finessing that system to get free land and free benefits.
Yeah, they were trying to scare me. Other black people were trying to scare me on doing it. Like, I don't know. I don't know about it.
What do you mean, do your genealogy? Don't you know your ancestors came here as African slaves? I mean, what you mean? What?
Yeah, but they're so broken. They don't even, it's just like, what? Oh, they just don't, they're just not aware. So, yeah.
And then I'm so glad you said that because that really, puts a battery in my back to keep doing what I'm doing because I have people all the time who I consult with. And some of them during the consultation, they'll be like, yo, Mike, like, I just feel stupid. I just think it's messed up that I didn't reach out to you sooner because I went with this other genealogist and I paid them a few $100 to trace my heritage. And I check in with them and ask them, hey, did you find any Native American ancestry? And they're like, what do you mean? All black people come from Africa. I mean, there's literally situations where we will pay genealogists who already have an inherent bias against our indigeneity. So, like, come on.
Especially the diaspora, other black people, immigrants, they are so tense. Like, what do you mean you're Native American? What? No, you're from Africa. Like, they're like so upset and they cross and I'm like, why y'all want to be disconnected from it? And I'm just like, but y'all don't even like us like that. Y'all ain't even try to help or build no schools here. Y'all just do your own thing. So
Somalis out there scamming in Minnesota. Didn't they do like a $300 million COVID scamming? Come on.
That's because they benefit by marrying in the family. So shoot.
Yeah. We ain't not even got to get into that Somali and incest. Okay, the Africans ain't like us. They not like us. But for those that aren't familiar with this weird divide, where like the Africans don't rock with us, they call us Yankee, they call us Akatas. The bourgeoisie Africans that migrate over here willingly, their parents often like coach them to stay away from us, saying we're ghetto, we're backwards, we just complain when we should be so grateful, right? You do understand that the reason why these Africans are obsessed with us and simultaneously so against us is because the only thing Africans have ever had going for themselves is their alleged kinship to us. Africans globally are shat on. They are spat on. Nobody rocks with Africans. African goes to Italy, they kicking them out the club, get your African ass out of here. We come through as a Black American, they roll out the red carpet. The only thing Africans have ever had going is this weird notion that somehow they are tied into our greatness. Somehow the fact that we are globally revered, our culture is globally exported. Well, the story says we were shipped here as slaves from Africa. So really, if there's some tied to the African continent, and they use that as a source of inspiration, as a sick, twisted sense of admiration. But at the end of the day, we have no connection with nor affinity with Africa. We might as well, I mean, it's as crazy as claiming that like Germany has some kind of connection with us. I mean, if you guys actually look into the transatlantic slave trade statistics, less than 4% of them Africans ever came to North America. The vast majority of us have indigenous roots that were obscured through a process known as paper genocide, racial reclassification. We've all heard of the one-drop rule, but you don't realize the one-drop rule was instituted to keep you away from your indigenous roots. Y'all see them folks in Louisiana doing the masking Indian ceremonies every Sunday, and y'all think, oh, they just dressing up as Indians just because? No, it's because that's how you keep the culture alive. Just like the oral tradition where our families will tell us, hey, no, so-and-so was an Indian, so-and-so was Blackfoot, so-and-so was Cherokee, so-and-so was Choctaw. I mean, if I ask 1,000 Black Americans, raise your hand if someone in your family said y'all come from Africa, barely anybody will raise their hand at all. But if I say, raise your hand if someone in your family said you have indigenous American roots, oh, we're going to see the hands go up. So, yeah, kudos to you, caller, for not letting the white folks keep you from doing your genealogy, not letting the Pangoofies or the continental Africans nor the African migrants deter you from doing your genealogy. But yeah, I would definitely advise you watch out for some of those pitfalls with Ancestry.com. If you want to get the clear steps from A to Z, you can always book a one-on-one with me. Just make sure you use that coupon code TikTok so that you hook yourself up with a discount.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey, brother, I got to get on to the next call, but I look forward to connecting with you in the future.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Peace. All right. Let's get on to the next call. I love these call-in shows. Okay. I love these call-in shows. I get to connect with the people, give y'all some free game. 470 number. We got you coming up next. Where's 470, y'all? I'll be getting y'all calling in from all different parts of the country. I tell you. Now we got a 909 area code. All right, and we can't really give it much more than 3 rings. We got so many people to call back. New people already hitting the phone lines.
Hello?
Hey, this is Mike with Native Black Ancestry, giving you a call back. How you doing?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Oh, staying busy, doing another one of these call-in shows. But let us know where you calling in from and what's on your mind.
Oh, man, you caught me off guard. I was actually in the middle of doing something. Like a couple of weeks ago. Man, everything's great with you, man. Man, I'm loving the material, Mike. You know what I'm saying? There's always that, Always, man.
It.
That's all I can say, man. Man, hey, man, you got it, man. Whatever it is, you got it, bro. Believe that.
I appreciate the support, brother. Well, hey, since you got me on the line, if you do have a couple questions or anything, or want some free game, lay it on me. If not, if I caught you at a bad time, then no worries. I can go ahead and segue to the next call.
That's cool, man. You call in time. It's just, I'm waiting on that hot information, man. Waiting on my genealogy, man. I can't wait to see that, man.
Yeah,
that's another big highlight, man. Apart from the shows and stuff, man.
Oh, Steph. Well, wait. So,
yeah, man.
Are you saying that you're a genealogy research client of mine?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, we don't got to dox you or nothing, but at least let me know the first name.
Edward.
Edward. Okay, I got you. Hey,
Yeah. Edward in Miami.
So many times I do these callbacks, and I'm actually talking to clients of mine, and I don't even know. Give me just a second.
Sure. This is all good, man.
You signed up June, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got you here. I got your file pulled up right here.
Man, I've been doing a lot of stuff, man. But all the stuff I was asking for, you did it. You put everything together. We got books about America being the old world and all that type of stuff. Books are out there, but you got everything all inclusive at hand, man. That's the key point with you. See, that's what people fail to realize. You got everything. It's accessible. I don't have to go here and go to the Library of Congress and go here and go there. You got it all in one place, bro. And you can't top that. That's what I got to say.
Hey, I appreciate the support, brother. And for anybody tuning in confused, Edward actually went to the website, nativeblack.ancestry.com. He booked a consultation with me. We had the consultation, and I forget what your reason was exactly. I mean, oftentimes people hire me to do the research for them because it's just so time consuming. It can be so meticulous at times, but regardless, he signed up for the genealogy research package, and right now I'm elbow deep on researching his ancestry. I'm actually looking at your file right now, and just to give you a quick update since I got you on the phone, I always start with the maternal side. It looks like right now I've got your maternal side traced to the early 1800s. I'm trying to get back into like the late 1700s, and then I'm going to shift gears, go into the paternal side. But yeah, the research package you signed up for typically has a 60-day turnaround time. So if I was you, I'd follow up with me like more so towards the end of July, and at that time I'll give you an accurate date as to when I'll be delivering those results.
Goodness. Man, this is incredible, man. I still can't believe it, man.
Hey, ask and you shall receive. Okay, you reached out, you needed some help. That's what I'm here for. But hey, brother, it was great catching up with you. I'm going to segue to the next call. But just make sure to reach out to me if you ever want an update or anything on how that progress is going.
Okay, I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, talk to you later. Peace.
All right, Mike. Thanks.
Yeah, oftentimes I'm doing callbacks on clients of mine. I don't even know. But shout out to Edward. Yeah, he just signed up for consultation last month. Still feels like this month. Shoot. We already had a new month, eh? Shout out to Shirley Baker in the chat. Nice to see you as always. All right, let's get on to the 618 area code. 618. All right, we gotta keep on keeping on. 440. 440. This person sent me a text wanting to know about tribal lifestyle. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, this is Mike with Native Black Ancestry giving you a call back. How you doing?
Oh yeah, how you doing, man? So glad you called me. I'm kind of shocked that you called.
I get that a lot. I'm a real person. I'm not AI. Okay, if you call me and leave a message, I will call you back.
I just want to find out. I just want to know how do I go about trying to look up my my ancestry. I never even thought of.
Well, first off, let me know what stage are you at right now with the research? Have you not even attempted a family tree yet, or have you started a family tree and it's just a little bit incomplete?
I can find my because I know one thing. I know my because I'm 63, and my grandfather was named was Joseph Robinson. Well, I'm sorry, that's my father's name. His name is Will Robinson, but I never knew my my grandmother, his wife. But the thing was, I know for myself that my grandfather owned like land, but my my grandmother, even though they was married, I guess they ended up getting divorced, but she stayed on the land.
Mm-hmm.
But she was always dressed in Indian clothes with the long ponytails. But we just never knew nothing about her because she always lived in Alabama. She always lived like actually on the land with the other people that around.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have never got to know her that much. She came around, but she didn't come around as much. You know, so I don't know too much about her. I try to get my father's birth certificate that they passed, and that my father passed, and they said that the people said that I need my grandmother's name, but I don't know her. I only know her name.
Okay. Well, have you tried to build a digital family tree online?
No, because I didn't know how to go by doing it.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah.
I did, but I didn't go too far.
Yeah. So if I was you, if it's within your budget, I would definitely check out nativeblackancestry.com. That's my website. You can book a one-on-one genealogy consultation with me where I actually show you step by step how to create a digital family tree, how to find Indigenous ancestors, just like me and my family did back in 2021 when we got tribal citizenship with the Muskogee Creek Nation. But the area that you're saying your ancestors are from, that was definitely Muskogee Creek territory. There was also some other tribes in that area as well. You know, you said that she would wear Indigenous garb. You know, it seems to be some indicators here that, you know, we may be dealing with an, you know, descendant of an Indigenous person of that area, especially when we talk about the land ownership, the ties to the land. And I'm sure most likely don't have any oral tradition passed down that your ancestors were shipped here from Africa, right?
All I know, my grandfather always had land. So
exactly.
I know, I don't think my great grandfather never was enslaved because the land was passed down to my grandfather. And I don't know after him, but I didn't check that. But I know my parents, because I know growing up in Alabama, even when we came to Cleveland, because right now we live in Ohio. When we came to Ohio, my parents never even talked about like slavery. They didn't.
Mm-hmm.
They was like, no, we never knew nothing about slavery until we came to Cleveland. And he was talking about it. Because my oldest was marching in the march with Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents never talked about slavery, even though. But my grandmother said, my mother's mother said, my grandmother said that I know back then when my mother was a little kid, the white men, they said, oh man, she's a pretty little, she's a pretty little whatever they used to call black people back then. She was like, they always made comments about my mom, but my mother wasn't, and my grandmother wasn't no slave. Because the reason why I can't get my mother's birth certificate because my mother was born at home. She don't have a birth certificate.
Yep, but that's very common.
My mother never. So it's hard to find her thing because the only thing I know on my birth certificate is got my mother and father on it, but on my thing on the left hand, on the right hand side of my birth certificate got color. But I know back then they named it. It came from Indian to color. So I try to get my father's birth certificate, and I know that. But I don't know my grandmother, his mother. So if I would got here, I would have tried to see that his thing, my grandfather was Indian.
Yep.
But I couldn't. But they wouldn't give it to me. But that's what I know.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Well, that's actually very common for us to have ancestors that were never slaves. You know, a lot of my genealogy research clients are surprised when I show them census records from the 1830s, 1820s, 1810s, where their ancestors are listed as free persons of color or free colored. And just like you said, you know, when we talk about racial reclassification, we have so many Indians that were reclassified as colored, as Negro, as mulatto, as Melungeon, as Creole, as Octoroon. I mean, there's so many, you know, systems of racial reclassification at play. But while it does make doing this kind of research much more difficult for the average Black American. It's not impossible. So, you know, I totally understand you need a little bit of guidance with how to actually access these things digitally. And that's exactly what I help folks with during those one-on-one consultations, because, back in the day, you'd have to go to the county clerk or the National Archive or this place or that place. But nowadays, a lot of the documents have been archived digitally. They've been scanned, they've been uploaded. So, there's a chance where that ancestor, I forget who it was, but you said you need someone's birth certificate, I think, or a death certificate or something. I mean, there's a good chance that this is out there online somewhere. It's just about being able to find these documents and source them properly.
Because I called the in Alabama, I called the birth certificate thing in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Told me only way for me to get my father's birth certificate, I needed my grandmother's name. I don't know my grandmother's name. Nobody knows her, nigga. She always lived on the land. She never my father's mom.
Well, was your father and your mother married?
Yeah, they was married, but they told me the only way I can get your birth certificate if do you know your grandmother's name? I said,
yeah, no. So what they're talking about is for you to get them to mail you a physical birth certificate. That's what they require. But nowadays, a lot of these online websites have these documents digitized. So there's a very high likelihood that I can actually show you how to find those documents online, so that you don't have to worry about this whole, well, I need my grandmother's name or her info and I don't have her info. Well, this is where creating a digital family tree comes into play, because when you start with your information and your parents' information, oftentimes I'm able to help you source birth certificates, death certificates, marriage documents, census records. The list goes on and on and on. And we can probably even find some digital documents out there that actually show us who your grandmother was, because at one point in time, she would have to appear on a census record with your father listed as her child. So, oftentimes, digital genealogy research in today's day and age helps us get through a lot of those obstacles.
Yeah, because you know how they in my mother's house, before my parents died, the picture was always on the wall. But my mother's picture was always on the wall, but I really never paid no attention to it. And and I asked my mom, I said, who's that? It's your grandmother. I said, what? I said, it's my grandmother. We never knew. It was always, and then when my parents died, it's weird. I wanted to, what happened to the picture? Somebody came and took the picture. Nobody knows who took the picture. It was like, I guess it had some on it, but you don't know who took the picture. Then I could have got the name there. I ain't paid no attention to it then until after my parents passed. And then that was it.
Yeah.
None of my brothers, they said they don't know who got it. One of them got it, they just don't want nobody to get it. They won't say nothing.
Yep, I feel you. Well, wait, brother, I got to segue to the next call, but I just want you to know you are not alone. There's thousands of Black Americans in your same exact predicament, trying to source these documents, trying to trace their Indigenous ancestors. And if you ever do check out my website, nativeblackancestry.com, and decide to book a genealogy consultation, make sure to use the coupon code TikTok. That's one word, all lowercase, and that's going to hook you up with a 20% discount.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure connecting with you. Talk to you later.
You too, man.
Peace. All right, we got a 216 area code up next. Shout out to Veronica in the chat.
Hello?
Hey, this is Mike with Native Black Ancestry giving you a call back. How you doing?
How you doing, Mike? I appreciate your call back.
Oh, yeah, staying busy. You know how it is. But
Yes,
hey,
sir, yes, sir.
let us know where you calling in from and what's on your mind.
I'm calling from Garfield Heights, Ohio. It's a suburb outside of Cleveland, Ohio. And I actually want to talk about my ancestry. Just finding out recently that my great-great-grandfather was a Choctaw chief in the upper portion of Birmingham, well, in the upper portion of Alabama, basically. And I was trying to figure out how do I start to reclassify myself so these people can't have control over me.
Yeah. Well, hey, before we get into how you would reclassify yourself and whatnot, let's just go back to the beginning real quick, because we're live right now. We're going to have a lot of Black Americans hearing this conversation, and I think this is a very, very important thing to highlight. If you were with me on camera right now, I'm sure you probably look like the average Black American, right? But you're saying that your great-great-grandfather was a Choctaw chief. And this is something that a lot of Black folks are beginning to realize, but some has still yet to realize. What we now know as the phenotypes of the average Black American is actually synonymous with Indians from the Southeast. It's just through racial reclassification and paper genocide. They've tried to convince us that unless you have Asian eyes and straight hair, you're not an Indian. When the whole time, them cowboy and Indian TV shows and movies were hiring Italian actors to play our ancestors. But, absolutely.
Yeah, the biggest one was the
crying Indian,
right? Yeah, with the crying Indian, right. The Italian man. So it's crazy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I am a copper color. I am copper colored. Indian features in my family for generations. On my mother's side, they talked about Blackfoot. On my mother's mother, they talked about Blackfoot being in their family, and on her father's side, they talked about Choctaw.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Choctaw chief is a female. She said she had a phrase that we're like fine as leather, black as leather, something like that.
You're talking about Chief Warhorse, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm very familiar with Chief Warhorse and her work. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, to answer your question about how we would go about reclassifying ourselves, there's the easy way and there's the hard way. The hard way would be, well, actually, I shouldn't have even phrased it like that, because both ways are difficult. There's the hard way and there's the harder way, okay? The harder way would actually be tracing our genealogy back to the late 1700s, early 1800s, finding our indigenous ancestors, sourcing things like roll numbers or any other documentation that would link them as members of these tribes, and then applying for and getting tribal citizenship ourselves. Now, while that's the harder way, that's the most verifiable way. That's the way that you're going to be recognized as an Indian, not just amongst your peers, but also with the United States government. And at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, we're all, members of this country that have to, fall in line with the United States government. So, the harder way would actually be doing the legwork, tracing your ancestry, finding your indigenous ancestors, going through the tribal citizenship application process, just like me and my family did back in 2021. And that's how, I became a Muskogee Creek Indian, recognized by the federal government to this day. I wasn't like born with tribal citizenship. My parents and grandparents didn't grow up on the reservation. I, like most Black folks, woke up one day and was like, you know what? I never really felt any calling to Africa. I've always felt we had indigenous sites here. My grandma said we got Indians in the family. My father's side got Indians in the family. Let me actually do the research. And just like you're doing the research and finding a Choctaw chief, I actually found a great-great-great-great-grandfather who was a chief of the Muskogee Creek Nation, one of several prominent Black indigenous leaders. His name was Thomas Jefferson Adams Harjo. There's literally books written about him and stuff, right? So, the harder way would be doing the genealogical research. The easier way would be, technically, the United Nations has something called the right of self-determination, where indigenous communities are able to self-identify as indigenous without any cosign by their local governing bodies. So technically speaking, you can just identify as Indian, reach out to the Social Security office, go to the DMV, change your status to Indian, on all your job applications, fill out Indian and stuff. Next census comes around in 2030, write down Indian and whatnot. That's like the easier way to go about it, but it's a way that is easier to challenge, it's easier to ignore, and most importantly, you're not going to get any of the benefits that are entitled to our ancestors through a lot of these treaties that they had. You know, when you're an actual citizen of a tribe, whether it's a state recognized tribe or a federally recognized tribe, you're actually getting a form of reparations or rectification in the sense that you get separate government set aside certain benefits exclusively tied to your ancestry as an American Indian. So, you know, folks may talk about DEI getting repealed or this or that. They ain't doing nothing to them Indian benefits.
Okay.
Indians getting free healthcare, free dental, free college tuition. Some tribes with casinos is just straight up giving their tribal members $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 checks every month. That's their per cap payment from the casino profits. I mean, there's a lot of benefits tied to being recognized by the government as an American Indian, which is why these white folks, since the creation of these roles, have always tried to finesse their way to being recognized as an Indian and then gatekeeping those benefits once they achieve them. I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, the $5 one.
Yep, absolutely. $5 Indians. A lot of people think that's like a joke, like that's a myth.
No, it's not.
No,
But it's a fact.
it's a fact. And the reason why most people don't realize that fact is because a lot of people who don't do this kind of research, they think when they hear of a doll's roll or any tribal role, they think that these are just like, they're so naive. Like, I don't blame them. I mean, they have the naivety of a child, but they naively think that these roles are just like the tribes keeping track of who's their member and whatnot. No, these roles were created by the federal government to classify indigenous people, gatekeep indigeneity, reclassify people as Negro, colored, etc. The white man is in charge of these roles. So when you understand that, you see how another European settler can pay $5 to get placed on said role because it's some crooked shit to begin with.
Yes. Now you said something about the reclassification. Is it true that you can sue the United States government for reclassifying you and trying to erase your heritage and your history because it was all for land grab anyway?
Absolutely. Technically, you can sue for any reason, but it's not really a matter of can you sue in my mind. It's a matter of what path leads us to the highest likelihood of success. And if you're going to ask me, as a genealogist who's reversed the effects of paper genocide in my own family, successfully got tribal citizenship, descendant from chief justices of tribes and whatnot, I mean, I would say, and also when I give you this answer, you're going to see how my work fits into this broader vision. But I'd say the best way to go about doing it is not even you as, let's just say your name is John, right? The best way to go about doing it is not you as John suing the United States government for reclassifying your ancestors and obscuring your indigenous roots. I don't think that's the way to go about it. I think that'll bankrupt you. I don't think it's going to have a high likelihood of success. I think that the best way to go about it is to create a movement that starts off regionally and grows nationwide, a movement centered on getting even a small percent. If we can even get 5 to 10% of the Black American population, the Black American population, 5 to 10% of them would actually galvanize, do their genealogy, find the record showing, hey, in 1870, grandma's listed as an Indian. 1880, they call her mulatto. 1890, they call her colored. 1900, they call her a Negro. If we actually came together as a union of sorts, as an association, if you will, if we had these documentations, we were able to pull together resources to actually lobby Congress. Because suing is one thing. It's not about suing. We got to lobby. We live in a crooked capitalist society where if we want to get in front of a congressional body, we got to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've crunched the numbers. We got to spend at least $300,000 to $500,000 over a 3-year period just lobbying Congress for a congressional hearing on the racial reclassification of our ancestors. And guess what? That congressional hearing most likely is not going to lead to rectification. It's not going to lead to reparations. Realistically speaking, it's just going to be a stepping stone, just the first step in the right direction. In the broader scheme of things, it's going to just be a pebble of sand on a sandy beach, right? But that's what we actually have to do in order to start getting us in this realm of not just properly being classified, but also getting rectification. I mean, if you imagine the civil rights era, right?
Yeah.
They getting dogs sicked on them, they getting spat on, getting beat up by white folks. And guess what? At the end of the day, while in their lifetime, they thought it was everything and it's going to change everything. And it did change a lot of things for the better. Now that we're the future generation, we can see how that was just a stepping stone, right?
Right.
That's just one little hop, skip, and a jump, a part of the broader vision, a part of the broader fight. So, I'd say that this is something that most likely is going to take 100 years to achieve. But if we really realistically look at 100 years, that's only like a generation and a half or so. So with that said, if we all get together, we get our research done, we've got our documents in hand, we form some kind of association where even if we had, here, watch, I'm going to crunch the numbers real quick on the fly. They say that the population of Black America, I think if we round up a little bit, they claim there's 50 million of us, right? If we only got 5% on board, that's 2,500,000. If we got 2.5 million on board and each one was paying $5 a month membership dues, just like any other association, just like when I was a member of the National Association of Realtors, which is the largest lobbying body on the earth. The National Association of Realtors is big money going to the government every year, right? Their dues are way more than $5 a month. I think I was paying, a few $100s for the year. But if we just get 2.5 million on board, each one paying $5 per month, that would be $12 million, $12,500,000 a month. Now we don't even need all that money. I already told you we talking 300,000 to 500,000 to successfully lobby Congress. But you see how if we just keep spreading the awareness, we just keep liking the video, sharing the video, getting this in front of more members of our peers. You see how it's actually a very realistic goal to achieve, to get us in front of Congress one day, advocating on behalf of our reclassified ancestors. But here's the issue. The issue is, the only source that you will hear advocating for this is me. Unfortunately, you've never heard Tariq Nasheed say anything like that. You've never heard Umar Johnson say anything like that. You've never heard any Nation of Islam members say anything like that.
No.
And these folks already have followings and communities that give them millions of dollars whenever they want to fund a project or crowdfund this or crowdfund that. So the real issue in our community is that we're living under kind of a quasi COINTELPRO 2.0, where most of the political commentary social figures we have that seem to be advocating for us are either on some Pan-African bullshit or into some Moorish sovereign citizen Hebrew Israelite science temple, or some foundational Black American, but and that's not to diss people who just use the term FBA, but if we actually look at it for what it is, I mean, you're basically just arguing with Africans all day. Once in a while we'll mention something about reparations, right? But why is nobody talking about galvanizing and creating an association that can lobby Congress on behalf of what happened to our ancestors?
Now, the information that you have, I'm quite sure right now we are in the information age. So there's not too much you can hide from people. The politicians that so-called represent Black people today, they have the same information, I'm quite sure. So would you consider those to be gatekeepers to keep us in
Absolutely. Most of them are members of the bourgeoisie, the Divine Nine, the Talented Tenth. Yeah. Most of them are COINTELPRO Negroes themselves. We may have a couple good actors in the mix, but I mean, these folks all going to the same Ivy League universities together, pledging to the same secret societies. I mean, yeah, of course. But see, the thing is, the reason why I say a congressional hearing and lobbying for a congressional hearing is because the congressional hearing is not where we're going to get the final verdict. The congressional hearing is not where at the end of the hearing they're going to say, yes, you're owed this amount because your ancestors were reclassified. No, the congressional hearing is so that that young person who's 12 years old, who's scrolling through media and looks at C-SPAN all of a sudden and sees us in a suit and tie in front of the Congress talking about Black Indigenous people with all the evidence to prove it, right? This can simply light the spark in future generations. And then this is a fight where, you know, some future generation is really going to get us over the finish line. But just like our ancestors who had to get water hose sprayed on them and dog sticked on them just to get us the little bit of privilege and status we have now, I mean, we have to bear a very similar cross. But since we're already past civil rights, since we're already past being spat on in the street and called the N-word with a hard R, really the only thing that's stopping us is pulling together resources. And that's why they keep us programmed with a spirit of consumerism and spin this and keep up with the Joneses. And, you know, if you want to feel like you're a part of a real movement to help Black folks, donate to Umar Johnson. He claims he's starting a school, right? I mean, this is the reason why they keep us programmed to spend our dollars on anything other than what's going to advance this cause. So, so yeah, no, I'm a little long-winded with my answer.
No.
That's what it's going to take. We got to get this in front of Congress. And once we finally accomplish that, I might be 50, 60 years old once we finally do that, right? But we also have to realize that's just step one. That's just us picking up the baton from the ground, running with it a little bit, and then getting ready to pass it to the next generation.
Now, do you think, and I'm going to let you go off of this one, but do you think that we need to get more people with the same mindset into the politics, that once we get there, we won't have a biased side towards one way or another?
I would say yes and no. We have so many members of our community. Of course, some of them can be lawyers, some of them can be politicians, some of them can fill those coffers, right? But it's not necessarily a prerequisite. It's not something that we would have to have, because what do these politicians really acquiesce to? Money, their constituents, their donors, the people who voted them into the office, or the people that paid the money to mindfuck people into voting them to get them in the office, right? So if we have an association that's bringing in enough revenue to where we're able to lobby certain political figures, well, they're gonna pay homage to the person that got them into office. So, you know, I'd say we play the short game and we play the long game. Yeah, we're trying to build an association. Yeah, we're trying to lobby Congress. But yes, if we have youth coming up and they're thinking, well, what should I do in the future? AI is taking over everything, whatever. Sure, we should have programs and ways to help finance their academia, whether they want to be a lawyer or be a doctor or whatever they want to be. You know, this is where we play the short game and the long game simultaneously, but it's not a prerequisite. You know, at the end of the day, this is America. Money talks. If you put $10 million into a politician's campaign fund and they get elected, then they gonna do a couple things you want them to do. And we see that time and time again. That's the way the game works.
Most definitely.
That's the way the game works.
Yeah.
And furthermore, we ain't boycotting yet. We ain't burning shit down or nothing like that. We're not asking for cash payment reparations being dispersed tomorrow. We're advocating for an official acknowledgement that American Indians of the Southeast were racially reclassified as colored, Negro, etc. If we get that on record, leave it to anybody else to do with that information what they will, whether they want to take it further and get some more rectification. But the only thing that I'm, advocating for at this point is just the official acknowledgement. That's all.
Now, I understand everything that you said. If this is knowledge that can be proven, why is Congress, or why is this hasn't been brought to the forefront?
Because no one's done it. Because no one's done it. The billionaire Black folks are most likely bourgeoisie, COINTELPRO Negroes who were put in that position by white folks anyways. right?
The
average Black American isn't talking like this, isn't thinking like this. Those that have clout in our community are doing school scams or saying, send me money so I'm going to start a museum or something. I mean, no one's doing this. This is America. There was no law stopping us from doing this. But guess what? There's only maybe, let's say, a dozen Black folks online across social media talking about this history. And out of those dozen, there's only one talking about these actionable steps. So, I mean, now you see why I go so hard doing what I do, because really there needs to be like 5 dozen more of me advocating for this to make this, to raise awareness to even more members of our community, right? And once we raise that awareness, then of course come on, if we can get civil rights, you don't think that we can get a congressional hearing for the reclassification of our ancestors?
But they're trying to repeal that right now. They're trying to do away with everything that was done for the past 50 something years. They're trying to erase it.
I mean, yes and no. Politics is politics. Will Donald Trump do some shit that that makes his racist white base happy? Yes. That doesn't mean he's really going to that doesn't mean we're actually getting that doesn't mean they're going to bring out segregated water fountains tomorrow or anything. I mean, in a couple of years, we're going to have another president anyways, right? I mean, Biden was in office and he was doing some good stuff for Black people, seemingly. Now there's a Republican in office. He's seemingly doing bad stuff. Then we're going to get someone else. I mean, this is the theater of politics. And at the end of the day, their only allegiance is money. It's wealth. That's it. Yeah. That's all. If you ain't got no money, you ain't got no say. Because even though we technically can all cast our vote and all of our vote is supposed to be equal, what do you think is really more powerful? Me as Michael Lane Jr. casting a vote, or me as Michael Lane Jr. paying millions of dollars in social engineering to get millions of people to vote the way I want them to vote?
Right. The latter. Most definitely. Most definitely. Well, I'm here. I'm starting this journey to reclassify myself and my family because I believe a whole bunch of dirt. Well, we already know a whole bunch of dirt with this country from the conception. And I don't know if you're a Bible believer. I am. It says, "Woe to the city built on blood and iniquity." So to me, America is done anyway because of its conception and its intolerable way that it keeps on doing the same shit over and over, but redressing it in a new pretty package. But it's the same spirit, it's the same thought pattern, and it's the same people that's doing the same shit. That's all.
I feel you. And kudos to you for playing your part, because this is all where it starts. We just on an individual level get in touch with our genealogy, find our indigenous ancestry, and then we can collectivize and come together. And the next thing you know, when there's hundreds of thousands of us advocating for the same thing, now we can get the needle tipped in our favor. But unfortunately, if you talk to the average Black American right now about this, I mean, they don't know nothing about Black indigenous people who've been reclassified. They don't know that the first conquistadors was documenting Black indigenous people since day one.
Right.
They haven't read Cortez journals from 1535 like I have, right? So this is where we're in the stage of awareness. We're in the stage of awareness.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, you got one over here. I mean, I'm gung ho. I'm down with what you're talking about. I believe that this is something that needs to be spread out over this country, and I do believe there's an awakening going on right now. I have faith in that, in the Most High, that there's an awakening of knowledge.
Absolutely. Well, hey, it was a pleasure talking to you. Again, if you do want more one-on-one guidance with genealogical research, check out nativeblackancestry.com. Use that coupon code TikTok to get 20% off your consultation. But yeah, genealogy research is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So keep on fighting the good fight.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yep. Talk to you later. Peace.
Thank you.
All right. I'm sorry. I've been neglecting the chat, y'all. Let me get caught up with the chat a little bit. Shout out to Armand. Thank you for the support. Armand says, thank you for caring and taking the time out to help people find out who they are. Man, I appreciate you. Hey, that's what I'm here for. Somebody got to do it. Taronica said they classified her as color on the birth certificate. Yep. That's that racial reclassification right there. Right there. Trap God says, Trap Mob Gods says, young man, you're not the first. We congratulate you for joining the fight. I told people in the 1990s to take it to the nation's court. We already addressed it to America. We proud of you. Well, I appreciate the support. That goes without saying. And if you're going to say I'm not the first, then put me up on game. Can you drop a name in the chat of someone else who's advocating on social media for us to have a congressional hearing on the racial reclassification of our ancestors? Because I haven't heard a Dane Calloway talk about that. I ain't heard Top Cats talk about that. Am I the first person to get online saying black folks are indigenous? Absolutely not. But when we talk about genealogy services and primary sources and rectification, I don't know. Oh no. Put me up on game. The next number we got is a 323 area code. Let's see what they've got for us. This looks like a Larry. Hey, this is Mike with Native Black Ancestry giving you a call back. How you doing?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Mike.
Yep, the one and only. What's up?
Am I live on the air?
Oh yeah, we live.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna make it quick. It's a man. He's telling black people after the verdict. What's the name of that verdict?
The Camarlo Anthony stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the idiot. He said after that verdict, he said all black people should move back to Africa, and that idiot needs to be stopped. He's trying to promote telling black people to move back to Africa. It's a black preacher in Atlanta doing this. You can Google his name, but he's a complete idiot. But that's what I want to let you know. That man needs to be exposed. Anybody telling black people to move back to Africa, they all need to be exposed. And that's all I got to say. But yeah, look that idiot up. And I know you do how you do like a show on somebody. You can just kind of debunk him, that fool, telling black people after the Camilo Anthony verdict, we should all move to Africa. I'm not going no Africa at all. But thank you.
And I feel you. And before you hang up, do you remember this preacher's name or anything? If I was to try to look him up?
Yeah, give me 1 minute.
An indigenous black American says Chief Sekou putting in work too. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm friends with Chief Sekou. If you guys go to nativeblackancestry.com, he actually filmed a video to help me promote my hidden heritage course. So yeah, me and Chief Sekou, I ain't gonna say go way back, but we've been rocking with each other for about a couple years now. Yeah, time flies.
Okay, just give me 1 minute.
Oh yeah, go for it. Go for it. Take your time. Take your time. Because yeah, you know me. I always love roasting the idiot.
Yeah, the idiot name is he's podcaster Larry Reed is calling for all black Americans to return to Africa. If you type that in YouTube, the idiot will come right up. Larry Reed.
Oh yeah, I found it. Perfect. Well, I guarantee I am saving him to my Pan Goofy Idiots playlist, and I will be doing a video on this within the coming weeks. Thank you so much for putting me up on game. Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. Young black boy gets jumped, stabs somebody, gets 30 years. They're now doing a retrial. And this is supposed to be grounds for all of us to move away from our ancestral homeland? What? Huh? Yeah. They'll try to pull any excuse to try to get us off of our ancestral homeland. I wouldn't be surprised if the podcaster Larry Reed isn't an African migrant himself. You know, oftentimes they are. Well, let's get on to this 334 area code. Got about another 20 or so calls here to make.
Hello?
Hey, this is Mike with Native Black Ancestry giving you a call back. How you doing?
Oh, fine. Wow, you just hit me from the left field, and I wasn't even expecting it.
Yeah, just pop up on
Thank
you
you.
real
I
quick.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel it. Well, hey, let us know
Yes.
where you calling in from and what's on your mind.
Okay, I'm calling in from Alabama, actually. I'm in Midland City, but it's but my people come from the Abbeville area of it, and I was just trying to find out how. And I've been checking you out. I haven't seen you like lately on there, so I have wanted to learn what way to go about certain things, because I was like you, coming up where I was thinking this thing about Africans and stuff like that, and I used to be kind of really like adamant about like, yeah, but then I did remember the echoes of my uncle who's no longer with us. He told me that my great grandfather, I forget what type of actual Indian he said he was, but he said he was full blooded. And I want to say it was Iroquois, but I'm not sure. Yeah, to be exact. So I was just trying to find out and even find out how to go about the mitochondrial DNA.
I mean, I really wouldn't even mess around with no DNA.
No.
To be honest, I mean, that's kind of like a last ditch effort. Really, I always promote folks to do genealogy research, and genealogy research is not DNA testing. Those are two completely separate things. Now, during your genealogy research, you could use a DNA test as a tool, but DNA testing is not genealogy. Genealogy is paper trail records, birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates, tribal rolls, land allotments, land patents, military rolls. The list goes on and on. So first, I would always recommend trying to map out the paper trail. Take your family tree on your maternal and paternal side back to at least the late 1700s, early 1800s. From there, you're going to want to start to run people born between the 1800s and the 1900s through different tribal data collections to try to see if they show up as citizens of any tribes. But yeah, while this may seem a little daunting, this is why I provide those one-on-one genealogy consultations through nativeblack.ancestry.com. So, if you ever do want to connect with me one-on-one and have me guide you through that 3-step process that me and my family used to trace our heritage and get tribal citizenship with the Muskogee Creek Nation back in 2021, then all you got to do is check out the website. You can pull up a calendar, pick a day and time that works for you. Just make sure to use the coupon code TikTok, one word, all lowercase, and that's going to hook you up with a 20% discount on your consultation.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to get on to that then. Definitely.
But real quick, I gotta ask: are you in a situation where you haven't even attempted a family tree, or did you start one and it's just a little bit incomplete?
Well, it's one that I actually have here behind me that came from another part of the family, and then they have the actual like drawing of the tree and the names of the family and stuff like that. And I actually looked up some. I Googled one that was my mother's father's, I believe, sister. And her name came up, and they said some things like for like kind of like a little outliner about it. It seemed like she could have been a pretty upstanding person. And it was Wiggum, and she married to a Chester. And I was even wondering about that name Wiggum, because it's a town in Georgia that's called Wiggum, Georgia. And I was told too by some cousins that my people were great agricultural people and stuff like that. And I was like, wow. And when you said some things, it really started making me think. And I used to call my mother's dad like a man amongst men. I never met him. He was dead before I was even thought of, and he died on my mother's 16th birthday. And he was found then, and they were always trying to get the land you know, and ask him, he tell him it's not for sale. So he just one day came up dead which something he done all the time, you know, go through a certain path and go through a fence, and they claim the gun went off, but I don't believe that.
No, yeah, you already know how that story goes. Yep. Well,
so
hey,
I really feel that that's a part of me. Is just I just have like this thing that feels like it's like in my soul, like.
No, it is. Yeah.
Enough people are that. I'm really like feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know.
And if that wasn't the case, then we wouldn't feel that way. We would feel called to Africa. They wouldn't have to spend billions of dollars and centuries on propaganda convincing us that we come from Africa if we really did, because we would feel it in our bones. Our grandparents would have stories from Africa passed down. They would have dishes passed down. We'd have spiritual systems and little sayings and this and that passed up, but we don't have none of that. If you actually pull up a mirror, and on one side, we got what's dubbed as urban culture or Black American culture, and you juxtapose that to the indigenous culture of the Southeastern people, totally identical.
Right.
From the way we had our clans and our societies and our towns laid out to our participation in ball games to settle disputes and avoid going to war. I mean, it's all us. Come on.
Right. And I don't have anything actually because of the way I was taught. I just feel as though it's certain things within people from different tribes, and I just feel over here, if it's really like what y'all have pulled up, like it's like it's not really surprising, but at the same time it is, because I keep thinking about something where in scripture where it say the hidden truth crushed to the earth shall rise again. And when I look at that, I look at history. Absolutely. And I look at things that's been buried and all that. So if all of that is really what's in America, then I believe that has something to do with it, because this is the biggest part now for us who are the people who are from here and the melanated people here, that we are called, you know, Black or Negro or however they dressed it up all this time. And I just really feel like it's a deep connection here with Black people, because even in certain other people's teaching, they say we've been everywhere. So how can you refute that when other cultures, when our people, the darker melanated people, wherever they went, they were like the foundation.
Absolutely.
So how could not that be true for here?
You're telling me every other continent had Black indigenous people as the foundation, but America just had these slanty-eye Asians that came across the Bering Strait. America was just empty until some slanty-eye Asian folks came across the Bering Strait. Okay. All right. Sure.
You really come well. I really appreciate, you know, your passion when it comes to this, then your family. You know, what was that, your granddad or your great-granddad?
He's like my great-great-great-granddad. Yeah.
Great.
Thomas Jefferson Adams Harjo, yep.
Right, and then like even y'all eyes and stuff like it reminds me of my families, because they always said that, you know, we had piercing eyes and stuff like that. And I was like, you know something, they got those. You know, and it kind of make me wonder about different things, you know, and what connections could have been, or, you know, and somebody here had actually told me something, but I don't know, I guess they had some type of issues with themselves, but he showed me paperwork and stuff like that about, and he showed me the same thing that you showed me as far as being connected as one of the federally recognized tribes. And this guy, he showed me that he's the only person I ever seen with it. He said, this is all real.
Yeah.
He said, I bet you probably a part of the Choctaws or something, because he said, yeah, the Abbeville area. And I read up a lot of stuff in this area, in this particular area, where they did a lot of hangings and stuff in the 50s and the 40s, and Eufaula even. All up through all there, it was so many Indians.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and to not know the history of them, even if you were an enslaved person that came, you still have to know where you are to understand where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I never really took a deep look at as far as the history of Indian people here. It was just what I learned in school.
Yeah, and
I
school
never
makes it
really
seem
deep-
like these slaves were imported. No, there
Right,
was folks
right.
taken as prisoners of war, enslaved in place, their own land converted into plantations. Most people don't realize that when the white folks came from the East Coast into the Southeast in the 1830s and they start building all these plantations and stuff, you know that they were never chopping down trees and clearing wilderness and starting plantations. They moved into our farms, they moved into our homes, they moved into our towns and had some of us enslaved in place to do what we've always been doing, cultivating the land. If you got a group that's already knows that area, they're expert agriculturalists, especially in all these indigenous crops that only the Indians successfully know how to cultivate, then wouldn't it make more sense to take some of them as slaves versus importing foreigners from Africa who've never been here, never tilled the soil? We don't even know if that African's a farmer or not. We're like come on, like common sense
You're
tells
right
you.
about that. When you said that about the Umar, when you put him up there and he really was going to the left. I've watched certain things. I identify with truth basically wherever I see it. But when he's saying that, and from the information you're saying, things that I'm starting to see, and I need to further research, and I'm going to more, and I'm going to get up with you based on that because I really want to know the truth. I really want to know. Like it's really in me to know this because I said we haven't really had our true identity, and then you got the African people, they don't really understand nothing. And how could they really have had us, coming from there and no one's ever reached out to us or nothing? Nobody never came here to claim nothing here, even when they could come.
Absolutely.
So there's not even connection from that. You just want the connection because you see the fight in us and all that and everything that we've endured. So
We're
that's
globally successful. Everybody wants to mimic the look, the walk, the talk, the dress of a Black American. And it gives these Africans a sick, twisted sense of pride, believing that somehow they're connected to us.
Right.
It's like if someone's a crackhead.
Hey,
check it out. It's like if you got a crackhead on the corner shitting on the streets, but that crackhead thinks he's better than the other crackhead because he thinks his second cousin twice removed was Michael Jordan. He gonna be walking around like his shit don't say I'm connected to Michael Jordan. Somehow Michael Jordan's greatness is connected to him. I mean, it's gonna make him think they move different. That's the same thing with these Africans. They hate us, they despise us, but somehow they try to like boost their self-esteem by imagining somehow they're tied to our greatness. I mean, it's weird.
And I be kind of thinking, even with that, brother, like I'd be like, is it a certain type of way because of the different systems that we did have, in which they had things over there too? I can't take away from greatness that they had too, in ancient times, because they did. I mean, but here I didn't know of anything. Now I'm learning the mounds and
we got more pyramids in the Americas than Africa. Africa has 400 to 500 pyramids. We got 5,000 to 6,000. The oldest earthwork mound structures are the LSU campus mounds. They predate the pyramids of Egypt. The largest pyramid in the world by volume is in Puebla, Mexico, not nowhere in Africa.
Okay. Wow.
But they claim that, and this is the white man, the colonizer, claims that the oldest pyramids are in Africa and that Africa is older than American pyramids by 40 years. 40 years. And why would they try to claim that Africa is older and is the true old world and not over here? Because they're trying to take our greatness and diminish it. I mean, how are they going to successfully make everybody believe that American Indians were backward savages if they knew that we had towns and trade networks and pyramids and castles and skyscrapers and technology? But whoa, if these people are sophisticated like that, then we're going to feel a little bad about you killing them with biological terrorism. We're going to feel a little bad about you enslaving them and racially reclassifying them. But if you make people think that they were just backward savages in loincloth roaming with buffalo, and we brought them civilization and Christianity, and so you see how they can get a lot more white settlers on the, on code with it, right? And that's actually why they stopped excavating a lot of the mounds. I can pull up an article right now. They was finding King Tut looking mummies and shit in mounds on Negro farms in Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
Hieroglyphs, petroglyphs, gold, all kinds of stuff. I mean, come on.
So I really feel, brother, that is what has answered my question about what the hidden truth was that was crushed to the earth. Because everything that's coming about is coming from within the earth, and it's being revealed and exposed from what was really there.
Absolutely.
So I believe that our people was visionary here. I believe that you had certain people. I don't know who was actually the best. I don't look at that. I see certain similarities as far as joy and hard times, and they have people that's smart. I'm not gonna knock people and stuff for all of what it's worth, but I love my people here, and I know what my people has endured here as well. So if we don't know each other and then people trying to attack us and all that, because there's a lot of us who don't know, so they have us kind of in the middle, and even like how I was about the thing about what you were saying earlier on when you were coming up about blackity black. So now it's like, oh my God, I just feel as though my people are from here. Like, I just really feel that. And I don't feel as though none of that was passed down, how you said. How could they just totally forget? Somebody's going to sneak something into something.
Hey, check this out. If our ancestors either forcefully or willingly en masse immigrated from our ancestral homeland of the Americas to Haiti or a place in Africa or a place in Europe, then guess what? Naturally, their descendants would just instinctually, would spiritually be called back to their homeland of the Americas. There might be one generation, it might be two generations, but something is going to pull us, drag us, crawling back home one way or another. Now, with that said, if we're supposed to all descend from West African slaves, why has it been allegedly 400 years since we were shipped here? And none of us want to go to no Africa. They've tried American colonization schemes. Abraham Lincoln tried colonization experiments. They've tried everything they could to get us to willingly immigrate in mass. Marcus Garvey did his fraud shit. They've done everything they could, and we still don't want to go nowhere. Why is that? If Africa was the motherland, I'd be trying to get back to mama ASAP.
That's right. Right? Because you really, with them having welcome, and I've heard the little story, I believe some of that stuff too, that some people that are patriot, how's the way you say it again? They're, where they're going over there, and they're not all being met in a certain way. I've seen certain.
None of them are. They getting scammed. They getting murdered. They getting killed by Africans. All kinds of shit. Land scams, still in their homes, still in their car. All kinds of shit. Yeah, no. Even those folks who did that. What was it? What's that little Liberia shit? Even the folks that did that Liberia shit that went over there was getting killed by the locals, and there was a whole war that went on. I mean, no.
Right. Weren't they just recently kicking some people out from America? Recently. I think within the last so many weeks. I think they were doing that too. Yeah,
but if you look into our Black Americans from Africa, the mainstream scientific consensus, educational, anthropological consensus is going to be yes. But if we put it in layman terms, this is us just believing the word of the same people that raped us and enslaved us and exploited us and colonized us.
Right.
If somebody raped your mama and stole your house, are you going to use them as a source of your ancestry? Or do you think that they're going to tell you whatever they have to so that they can continue to squat on your indigenous homeland?
Of course.
Which one do you think is most likely?
When you're trying to conquer people, that's what you're going to do.
Guys, it's so simple. It's so like,
Mm-hmm.
it's so rudimentary. It's so juvenile. Wait, hold on. We've been fighting these Black indigenous people in the Southeast, and they've been killing us and the swamps and the Everglades and taking us out. Okay, hold on. We're going to take them out in this battle. We're going to take their women and children as slaves. We're going to reclassify them, and we've got to raise them to believe that they come from Africa, because then they ain't going to fight for their homeland no more. How do you fight for your homeland if you think you came from the other side of the world?
Yeah.
If we successfully believe the okie doke, yeah.
This is something I really want to think of. I want to hear what what your thoughts on this. What about the ones that that they say escape to like places like Mexico and Florida, and they fought off these people? They still would have to be familiar with the land. You can't come from Africa and fight a war on unfamiliar land and hold off people for all those years.
Yeah. How do you know how to navigate the swamps?
Right.
How do you know how to follow the Gulf Coast and get down to Mexico? I mean, most of the southeastern tribes have ties to Central and South America. There's a migration story of my tribe, the Muskogee people. Before we were in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, we came from parts of Mexico, where Montezuma and them was at. I mean, it's really not that far. If we get rid of these fictitious state boundaries and lines, like Mexico is a stone's throw away. Like, this is all the Gulf Coast. Right on the other side of Louisiana is the Yucatan Peninsula, where the Black Olmecs were supposed to be, right? I mean, what are we talking about? It's not very far at all.
Right. Okay.
But hey, I got to get on to my next call. But yeah, I definitely urge you to check out the website.
I appreciate you, and I really thank you for that was real solid that you did that. I wouldn't this made my day right here. But yeah, I will be getting up with you on that, and keep on being, the general in this that you are. Just keep on being there, and I got love for you, definitely. You're a good, beacon out here for this right here.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother.
Salute to you, and keep up the good work. And I'm gonna go ahead and find out some things and get with you too. And then that way, then I can know, and I could be an advocate as well. I would love that. I'm like, what? Do you know what? Yes, I'm Indian. I'm Black Indian.
That's right. And the only reason why we even have to say Black Indian or Native Black American is because mainstream society does not properly educate you of the true phenotype of the American Indians.
Right.
If they got you thinking Black comes from Africa, we got to go out of our way to tie Black to Indigenous.
Right.
Because they haven't seen the Spanish conquistador journals I have. They haven't seen the paintings in the German churches depicting the Black Indians. They don't know nothing about this. They were taught that the folks who walked the Trail of Tears weren't us, when in actuality it was quite the opposite.
Right. I believe that too. All that they always do to Black people, and especially the darker hues of us, I believe that all day long. So yeah, so I appreciate it, and I thank you for that. And I'm going to be getting with you though. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to connecting with you, brother.
Yeah, for the conversation. I hope in the future we get to share more too as well.
Likewise.
Yeah, okay.
Take it easy,
all
brother.
Right. Thank
Peace.
you so much. All right. Peace.
All right, y'all. I got maybe 2 more calls I can make. Maybe about 2 more calls, and then I got to get going. All right, let me see. We got a 615 number. We'll make this one the last call. Shout out to everybody tuning in live.
Hello?
Hey, this is Mike with Native Black Ancestry giving you a call back. How you doing?
Pretty good. What about you?
Oh, staying busy. Just running through a list of callbacks. Just wanted to see what you were calling in for the other day. I think you were sending some messages about Louisa.
Yes, I wanted you. Did you see the picture?
Yep, I see the picture, looking just like that Southeastern Indigenous woman.
Yes,
Last
it was
survivor
like
of the
2 weeks
Tulsa
ago.
massacre. Yep.
It was like, are you live right now?
Oh yeah, I'm live. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. You was explaining about Louisa to somebody. I can't even remember who it was, but yeah, and I was like, oh, I wish I could show that picture. So I was calling then. I really wanted you just put that picture up on the screen. But hey, you got it now. So the comparison of her and, because you was talking about both of them, but I don't think you really realized how similar they looked. You know?
Yeah, no, that's a crazy crazy side by side. And actually, give me just a second. I'm gonna change the view for my live audience so that they can actually see the same photo that you shared with me. Let me pull that up right here. All right, now everybody on social media should be able to see the same image. But yes, we clearly have the depiction of Louisa, the recreation based off of her skeleton and different remains. And yeah, she's looking identical to this survivor of the Tulsa massacre. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's all I wanted to show you.
Wait, but you do know what they did to the museum that was housing these remains of Louisa, right?
Tried to burn it down.
Yeah, they didn't try to burn it down. They did burn it down. Only a little bit of her remains survived the fire. Most of it was lost. But now you could see why folks is trying to burn it down. You can talk about black people being from Africa all you want, but when you bring up the skeletal remains of the oldest indigenous woman in the Americas, and she looks identical to your average black American, damn, that says a lot. That says a lot. But yeah, hey, if you got anything else on your mind, go ahead and lay it on us. You're going to be my last call for the day.
All righty. Well, I appreciate it.
Okay, he said, I'm just calling to put y'all up on game. Okay, look at the photos side by side. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate this receipt, and I'll definitely make sure to share this on social media and help get the word out. Because yeah, I've yet to see anybody do a side by side comparison like this.
I see so many people, as when I'm out throughout the day. Sometimes I see so many people that resemble so many pictures of people that were here before, prominent pictures and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, these people that I even know, it's probably them walking around again. Like,
dang. But the funny thing is, you can't pull up no picture of an African that looks like this.
No, you can't.
Africans don't even come naturally that light tones. I mean, most of them are rather on the darker hue of things. Any of them that looks like one of our complexion is most likely like biracial or has a European parent or something. Like, come on. If we just look at phenotype says it all.
Yeah.
Yep. But hey, it was a pleasure connecting with you. Yeah, that nose ain't lying either. You right. That nose ain't lying. Shoot, I got the same nose as my fourth time great grandfather, who was a chief of the Creek Nation. So yeah, the phenotypes be phenotyping, to say the least. But hey, brother, thanks for dropping this gem on us. Don't hesitate to call in the future if you ever see me doing one of these call-in shows. But you take it easy. Have a great evening.
All right, you too here.
All right, peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's all I have for you right now. You know what I'll do? I'll actually I'm gonna open up the phone lines. If there's any new people who've been watching or anything who want to call in fresh, I'll take a couple calls real quick. I've mostly been trying to get caught up with callbacks during this broadcast, but I'm gonna go ahead and stay live for another 2 minutes, see if anybody wants to call in or anything. Otherwise, I got to go. Let me know, chat, where you guys tuning in from. I know we have folks tuning in from all over the country. We got Night Sky Bright in the building. Nice to see you as always. Aquila Eyes always showing up and showing out. Nice to see you. Indigenous Black American. Is Taronica still in the building? I know Taronica was here earlier. Shout out again to Armand for dropping the super chat. I appreciate the support. This is a crowd-funded operation after all. And again, guys, if you need any assistance with genealogy research or anything in between, make sure to check out the website nativeblack.ancestry.com.
Hey guys, I just got done with my consultation. I came across Mike on TikTok. I've been watching him on TikTok and YouTube now for about a year. I've been in his lives and I got interested in a consultation. And I'm very happy that I proceeded with booking. It was very informative. I got a lot of good information, a lot of good steps. I plan on booking the professional genealogy, whatever. But if you're listening to this, definitely book with Mike. He is definitely the best. He's the king of receipts. So if you want the best, definitely come and book with Mike.
Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, go to nativeblack.ancestry.com to schedule a consultation.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British men. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them in. This shit get way deeper than your pigment.